What's up everyone, welcome back to Jungle Gap. In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down jungle fundamentals step by step in a typical game of League of Legends. Now, whether you're trying to reach your dream rank or simply just, want to feel more confident and, have some more fun and feel like you know what's going on when you're playing jungle, this video is going to evolve you. Now, if you're unsure who I am, my name is Coach Leo. I am an ex-pro player and challenger jungler, and I hold daily group coaching sessions as well as one-on-one coaching. So if that's something that interests you, check the links in the description below. And without further ado, let's jump into the fundamentals breakdown. All right, so before we jump into the, the pre-game plan and, the in-game fundamentals, I want to quickly talk about this first point here, which is our mentality towards our teammates. So we're going to be going over some in-game settings that you can have, which will just allow you to deal with, less than adequate teammates. It's going to give you more of a mentality that focuses not on the result of every single game, win or loss. It's going to give you, an improvement mindset. It's going to keep you focused on what you can do better and your own improvement. So yeah, the first thing is scoring points. So we want to consider each game just like we're doing a test or an exam where, potentially you could get 100 questions correctly, regardless if that game was a loss or a win, right? And we're trying to score highly and make as many correct decisions as we can. This way, we're going to be focusing more on, our decisions, rather than, oh, we just lost this game. Oh, we just won this game. Great. Our LP went up. Our rank went down. We really want to focus on the improvement aspect of it. And so ways that can really help with scoring points and really kind of not associating our team and our teammates with, actual people that we want to talk to and we want to argue to back and forth. There's some settings that we want to do. So the first one in interface here is called enable streamer mode. And essentially what this is going to do is instead of my character saying, my name and all your champions, all your teammates saying their names, it's just going to be Jarvan, right? It's just going to be Jarvan. You're just going to know this player as Jarvan. So this really helps, at least it helps me especially, treat the game more like, a solo campaign game where I'm just playing my own thing, trying to get, trying to score highly on my test, right? I'm not considering that, I actually have other players in the game with their own ideas and flaming and inting and all this other stuff. It's just Jarvan, right? That's why my brain is thinking like this. And the second thing in interface as well, which is the change chat visibility. So you want this setting on the pre-made only party. So usually, we would type in the chat /mute all /mute pings all. But essentially these settings, what they do is they'll just do that automatically for you every single game. So I would highly recommend, this is something that's definitely helped me a lot with frustrations in the game, because frustrations in the game will happen no matter what. So these are some techniques that can help with that. All right, so let's jump into the game now, right? So as you can see in this game, I'm playing Jarvan. I think Jarvan is quite, a well-rounded champion. As for jungle, he clears pretty good, he scales pretty good, he ganks pretty good. So he's kind of a very, very, solid all-rounder, I would say. And as you can see, yeah, I'm playing in diamond / master tier game. So, these games are still going to, it would be unfair for me to show you a replay of me just in bronze, just being mechanically different, right? I want to show you guys something from my own skill level, but these fundamentals of course apply to every single rank, right? All right, so the first thing, simply when you're in load screen, all you want to ask yourself, as in the pre-game plan, is where can I get a kill? And this is following the categories of V for volatility, G for gank setup, and M for enemy's mobility, right? So you want to follow this. That's all, we want to make this simple. Where can I get a kill? Because, that's in your pre-game plan, you want to get golden XP. So, if I do that in this game, VGM for each lane. And of course, as you practice this, you'll get faster at it. Top lane, volatility, Gangplank versus Jace, both having, GP having grasp. So when you think about volatility, you want to think about summoner spells, so if it's a flash, ignite, Riven, that's screaming volatility. If it's a Malphite with, and also items, D-Shield and grasp, it's kind of, he's sustaining, he's always going to be healthy. So this is it's kind of a pokey lane. I'm going to assume that GP is just going to kind of chill and farm. If you're unsure as well about something, you could just leave this as a question mark. I don't know, right? It could be, it could not be. So then you just move on. You want to do this fast. Okay. Gank setup, GP, no. Enemy's mobility, Jace. Okay, if he had like phase rush, that's when you would consider that. Not really though, right? He has his pushback for me. So, you know, not really. So this is actually going to get a tick. So all in all, this lane is not great, right? Not great. It's all dependent on how volatile it is because we have no gank setup. Okay, let's go through it for mid now. Mel versus Talon, right? Volatility. So we see some poking runes, right? We have TP, we have Ignite here. This is saying volatile, this is saying volatile. So we're going to guess that this lane is going to be volatile, right? Talon's going to be trying to all in. Mel is going to be poking. Not really any sustain coming from either of them. The gank setup is Mel's root. It's not really reliable. So I'm going to give this one like a dash. Like it is there, but it's not great. Enemy's mobility, of course, is Talon. Pretty good, right? He can hop over walls. So this one again it's okay. It's not like screaming out to us. It's okay. It's something to consider. And now finally bot lane, right? So usually when you think about bot lane, you want to mostly look at the support. Okay, so as you can see, I have a LeBlanc with Ignite, really good gank setup. The enemy is a Nami. So let's go through this volatility. What do we think? Okay, so Nami is a champion that, you know, she has some sustain, but we're thinking that this is going to be volatile just mainly because of the LeBlanc. So yes, volatility, yes. You know, other things you can think about when you look at support, right? I'm going to go through some, you know, examples here. You know, if you have Lulu versus Soraka, you know, these are two ranged champions with low damage, and you know they both have they have heals and shields. So this is not really screaming volatility, right? But if it's like a Brand versus a Xerath support, high damage, poking, no sustain, right? That's volatility. Volatility can also mean having a blitzcrank. You know, if one hook lands, it's a kill. Like Pyke, one hook lands, it's a kill. You know, if it's Nautilus versus Leona, really, really good gank setup and all-in potential. So that's volatile. So, you know, the funny thing is like, you know, part the bot every game. It kind of is like that, but there are some games where, you know, you're going to have Flash, Ignite, Riven versus, you know, whatever, something similar. And you're going to have like Sona versus Soraka bot. You want to part to top in that game. Okay, so gank setup for bot, yes. Enemies mobility, yes. Right? They have no mobility. So this is getting 3 ticks. And so the more that you do this, where can I get a kill? The faster you'll get, right? So this is simply, where can I get a kill? First fundamental in the pre-game plan. You want to do this, you want to lock in, you want to do this as soon as you can to give yourself as much time as possible to start thinking. Something else you can do if you have spare time, especially in Champ Select, is think about what kind of boots and what kind of build you want to do. Anything that can take away from time having to spend in-game thinking is what you want to do in the pre-game. So for example, this game, oh, I see that there's a GP, Echo. Okay, so let's think. A Merc's a good, you know, boot this game. Okay, there's only like Echo stun. So Merc's is not good this game. There's 3 AD champions. Is Tabby good this game? Well, they also have some AP champions as well. So maybe Ionia boots is the best boots this game because Mercs and Tabbies are not really screaming out to me. And I'm thinking about my build. Okay, so they have, you know, a crit champion here, crit champion here. So maybe I want to build a Randuin's this game. Are they going to stack armor? That means I want to maybe build Black Cleaver, right? Black Cleaver is pretty staple anyway on Jarvan, but these are kind of things you want to think about in the pregame. So let's get into it now. Let's get into the game. So as you load in, next question we want to kind of think about is what can the enemy jungler do, right? So if you're versing a jungler that can potentially invade you, this is going to go hand in hand with the next thing, which is, you know, the trinket usage. So you want to think, what can the enemy jungle do? What's he most likely going to do? Is he going to have a similar kind of thought process? Is he going to have a similar plan to us? Is he also probably going to play around bot? What are ways that he can kind of manipulate the map in his favor? If this was, you know, a Nidalee, I'd be very, very careful about, you know, maybe him late invading my red side, starting my red side. If he gets the map split for bot side, of course he's going to win out on that because the bot lane is what we said is volatile. So you want to think about what the enemy jungle can do. And so as we load in, we're just going to watch, buy up quickly. Whenever you play, right, every single game, you want to path like this. You want to path here on blue side and you want to path here on red side. You want to guard these entrances. The reason that you do that is because if all 5 champions go to where they should be, right? So this is top, this is jungle, this is mid, this is support. As you can see, my support is here and AD carry is here. You're building like this wall. Okay, so you always want to go here. This is just about building habits. Your support might run here one game, okay? That doesn't matter. It's just about building your habits. It's all about habits. Okay, So let's watch how we play this first round. The fundamentals that we're going to be looking at is the trinket usage, the camp mirroring, and effective pinging. Okay, this is what we're all going to be looking at in this first round, as well as the tempo, which I will refer back to the fundamentals cheat sheet here when something comes up. Okay, so my support does something great. We get a kill. So right here, I'm looking to track echo. Okay, so this is something I would recommend you do every single game. You should try and use your trinket, where I'm going to use my trinket here. I don't know if I do it this game, but you should always try and ping your team to help you. So when you go for this ward, I'm doing it solo, no pings, no help. This is something I wouldn't recommend, okay? Try and get your team to help you. I'm kind of doing it this game because I'm Jarvan. I'm pretty safe. We also just killed their Talon, right? So look at the champion. So if I was versing like a Darius top here, this would be very, very risky of me if I wasn't playing Jarvan either and I couldn't flag this bush. If I just ran in here, not really thinking about anything to get this ward, I could just be getting jumped at by a Darius with Ghost and I might just lose my life. So consider the champions and have your team help you with pings when you're going for this ward. Last thing here, make sure when you place this ward, it's like kind of around 1 minute because wards only last 90 seconds, right? You want this to at least last until 2:30. The reason why you want it to last until 2:30 is because you want to be able to see him. Whatever he does, you want to be able to see him on his third camp. Usually junglers finish 3 camps from 2:30 to 2:40. So you want to make sure that you see him when he's on that third camp because you want to be able to track him. All right, so, typical start. We walk to our starting spot. We get the ward. Now we're going to be able to track the echo, which is going to be very important, which we'll show for the reason why as we watch. For things like tracking, helping our team understand the danger, and also for ourselves to potentially punish him if he ever wastes time. Okay. One thing I did here, which is, I'm kind of AFKing at the buff. This is also not good. I should wait here until it's time to leave. Because, what if they, ran it? I know that in this case they can't. It's about habits again. So I shouldn't actually be here right now. I should be still waiting here. All right. So, a little bit about champ mastery, right? I said Jarvan before he has a fairly, fast clear speed. And we're going to be talking lots about tempo, which as you can see here, fast clearing, figuring out the fastest way for your champion to clear is very, very, very important because you want more time, right? Time is a very valuable resource as jungle. You want as much time as you can. And so clearing quickly, look up a guide on YouTube. There's plenty of, speedsters that are doing clear speeds on YouTube. You don't have to be setting world records, but you need to be able to clear, pretty well. Okay, this is very, very important for your tempo. So this tempo word is going to, come up a lot in this review, in this breakdown. So, little things like pulling camps together and, this kind of thing, very, very important. And so as we are doing our third camp here, okay, if the echo is not on his third camp, right, by now I know we're clearing a little bit quick here, right? We're kind of clearing pretty speedy. As you can see here, we're already like 1 camp ahead in speed. I don't know what this guy was doing. Maybe he like reset his buff or something. Who knows? But this is the purpose of this ward. You see here how it's about to time out. You can see the little timeout right here at the end. It means my ward's about to time out. If we ward that too early, that ward is rendered kind of useless. It's only checking if the enemy starts raptors. So you must do this ward after 1 minute. So let's say, for example, he was starting bot side this game, right? If he's starting bot side this game and he's not here right now, it means he's starting bot side, right? If he's not here on this camp now, we know here he's pathing up. If he is here right now, we know he's pathing down. So now, right, we're getting to this next fundamental, which is camp mirroring. Okay, camp mirroring is a very effective way that you can track enemy camps and when they spawn. So because we know that we've done a mirrored path, right? We're both clearing down. I'm clearing a little bit faster than him, right? But his number 1, which is his Krugs, are my number 1, which are my Gromp. My number 2, which is my Wolves, his number 2. His number 3, my number 3, his number 4, my number 4. So I know when my number 1 is spawning, that his number 1 is spawning. I know when my number 2, his number 2. Right? So we're mirroring the camps. If this was the opposite, you get the idea. His Gromp, my Gromp. His, yeah. So we're mirroring the camps, so we know what the spawn timers are. it is good to note that I'm clearing faster than him, right? So my Gromp is going to spawn a little bit faster than his, maybe like 5 seconds, you know, because I'm a speed star, I'm speed clearing. And so, you know, I already just have like an automatic tempo advantage off this guy. Obviously, Jarvan clears faster than Echo. So this is why there's a lot of talk about, you know, oh, Darius clears at like sub 3 minutes. Wow, so OP, right? Because clear speed is really, really kind of important. It can kind of make or break a champion. Now, you know, this isn't really a fundamental, but as you can see here, Talon is going for something, right? So when there is danger, and, you know, in this case, I'm just trying to pull this to my next camp. But when there is danger, there are little details that you need to do to help yourself out. If I was simply just AFK, not pulling this camp and hitting this, I would probably die to Talon. Now, obviously, I need to also be awareness as well of him coming. But you want to, if you see it, like let's say this was the Echo, right? Let's just say this was the Echo invading me. You want to pull camps away from the danger and get ready to smite it. So having the macro is all well and good, but you need to also start building a library for scenario. So, you know, you may fall into a scenario where you get invaded. That's all good. You know, that's a learning situation for you. That's no problem. But you need to be able to build good habits. It's just like pulling a camp away so it doesn't happen again. So pulling camps to where you're going, pulling camps away from danger is going to really help. So, you know, I honestly, I actually saw him here, but again, I'm pulling the camp away. If I was just killing the camp here again, right, on my flag, Talon would be able to WQ combo, ignite, and kill me. So I'm still being very efficient here in my clear, and Talon's the one that's actually wasting time and wasting tempo. So here we go. He burns flash. I'm getting ready to flash here, and you know, I probably should use pot as well. I used pot a little bit late there. So he doesn't ignite, he doesn't have enough damage, and that's all because I didn't really give him the range for it, okay? So as soon as that happens, right, the game is in a situation right now where I know Echo is clearing down, and I kind of got, you know, delayed from that now. I'm delayed for that. So I'm thinking now ahead of time, and here we go, the effective communication, right? Too often do I see just like pings, just like danger, okay? When I'm coaching students, we're just pinging something. And I'm telling you what, guys, these pings to some laners will mean something. But to most laners, you just pinging some random danger pings in the enemy jungle is flying straight over your laners' heads. They're not thinking a second into it. Most of them. Some, yeah, maybe. So you need effective pings, okay? Effective pings are danger here, and then ping Echo in the chat, right? There's a difference between pinging and there's a difference between effective communication. Pings are a great way, right? So, you know, I talked about before how we are disabling chat and we're turning party mode on. Because this is great. I have no chat to be distracted to. I have no one flaming. I have no care in the world for what's happening. But I'm still giving information and my team is still giving information, right? The Mel pinging for me before. So it's not about, you know, treating our teammates like they don't exist. It's just about, yeah, pings just basically are very important. Pings are a great way to communicate, okay? If someone is being annoying, right? Someone just spam pinging you, then you can mute individually, right? That's kind of like my thought process as of current day and age. Okay, so how does this start of this game affect my game plans? So my game plan was initially, obviously, I want to play for bot scuttle. However, this has changed that now, right? I'm pinging Echo in the chat. I'm pinging he's here. I'm pinging he's going for this. You know, one more ping I could have used was on LeBlanc. No smite. Echo is now clearing faster than me because I had that little delay. So, right, how we think about tempo is that we don't want to just run to this scuttle crab, hoping the Echo is bad, hoping the Echo does something weird. We don't want to go for that, you know, low percentage play. The high percentage play here is give the scuttle and recall and maybe go to the top scuttle, right? That's the high percentage play. Don't go for the low percentage play. The amount of times I've seen junglers that I coach just think, oh, right? Like, oh, you know, I thought I could get it anyway or something, you know, just it's fine, right? It's just a scuttle crab. So just give it, right? Fast buy, back on the map. Round 2 has begun. Let's check the fundamentals. So, what we're about to talk about as well, right, is, so we've talked about fast clearing, which is, you know, knowing how to clear on your champion mastery. And now we're talking a bit about spare tempo, okay? This is a bit about spare tempo and also first spawning camp cycle. So what I'm gonna kind of teach you guys here is how to keep good tempo. What does keeping good tempo actually look like? Okay, so we're gonna go back to these Krugs actually. So right now, right, when does my Gromp spawn? My Gromp spawns at around 420. Okay, my Gromp spawns at 420. It's currently 332. So what does that mean? It means I have around 40 seconds of spare tempo. So for example, if the Talon didn't kind of delay me, I would have 40 seconds here to take Scuttle, you know, to gank mid, to gank bot, maybe drop some deep vision. This is ways that you want to use your spare time after a clear, okay? You don't really want to gank before your spare time unless you know it's 100% a kill. You don't want to go after Raptors here and gank mid if Talon's just going to flash away. That's called your regular tempo. You don't want to do any wasting any time while you have camps up. And this is also going to help you keep structured game. So let's, you know, I'm actually going to use my spare tempo in reverse here because I know that I can't use it bot side. So how am I going to use my spare tempo knowing that my Krug spawn at 420? So there are some things I can do. I can base, I can go take the top Scuttle. I can go ward his Raptors. I can maybe potentially play for his Krug spawn if he wastes more time. However you use your spare tempo, make sure, you know, you're doing something with it. Ganking top, helping LeBlanc push a bot wave in. Use your spare tempo. The amount of times I've coached students that come here and just wait at their Gromp, that's bad. You want to use your spare tempo. So, 420 is my Gromp spawn. I also know, right, Echo's Gromp spawn is also around 420, maybe a little bit later because he was slow at clearing. Okay, so let's just keep this on the map. 420 is my Gromp. I know that. Camp spawn at every 2 minutes 15. So I see here now the Echo is on the bot wave, right? So immediately, like my first reaction here is that I want to go and take his Gromp, his Krugs. The very first thing that I want to do is take it, right? And he actually dies here. He actually dies here, right? So now I'm thinking, okay, great. I'm going to use my spare tempo to go take his Krugs. And in this case, you know, in a normal case, I think this would be you know, working. But in this case, I'm a little bit early. You see this, right? His Krugs are spawning at 425, so I'm way too early for this. So instead, I use my spare tempo just to simply gank mid. So it's okay to gank somewhere, to burn a flash, to get a chunk, to help your lane, right? Help, right? Help is a word that I always tell my students, don't use that word. But you can do things like that in your spare tempo because it's not affecting you. It's not affecting your game. And ganks like this, right? Again, as long as it's your spare tempo, are good. They're good for your laner. Okay, so this is fine. Now we're running back. Echo is now spawning, so I'm not going to have that time to take Krugs. But you can see, right, if this Krugs was up here, if I was able to take the Krugs here, taking his Krugs would obviously be much better than ganking mid. Okay, so cool. We go for the mid gank, get a chunk, hoping to blow his flash. Doesn't work. Okay, so then how do we keep good tempo? The first spawning camp cycle. We just talked about it, 420 Gromp. So as soon as that 420 Gromp spawns again, you know, I actually do use some extra time here. So, you know, it's always up to the case of how worth is getting this ward here and shooting this way, right? How worth is that compared to being on Gromp? I think I kind of wasted a little bit of time here. I probably should have just dropped the ward here, hit this quickly, EQ. So I should be a little bit faster here to my Gromp. The idea, right? The idea is that you always want to be back at your Gromp on the spawn unless you're doing something better, which is like taking enemy camps, killing someone. So now it's back to my regular tempo, right? If I go and gank top right now, that's bad. Even if I get his flash here, that's bad. You know, arguably, you could make the argument that, like, you know, burning GP flash, he's an immobile champion, so I could come back at level 6 for my free kill. But in a general sense, you want to not gank, not blow flash, not help your team, push out a lane, whatever it is, in your regular tempo. Only spare tempo, okay? So, next point, weak side, strong side camps, okay? Weak side, strong side camps. So what does this mean? This goes hand in hand with the whole idea of the first camp spawn. So currently, okay, you may have heard me, you may have seen videos where I've talked about this before, so I'll go over it quickly. Basically, the top side camps, these two, the Gromp and the Wolves, are my weak side camps. The Raptors and the Krugs are my strong side camps. The point of, having this, keeping this good tempo is that you always want to path out to your weak side first, clear your weak side camps into the strong side. Now you can continue full clearing in your strong side, but basically the point of this is that you can skip your weak side camps here. Let's say Echo ganks top and do the dragon, right? And take his Gromp and gank bot. You can actually skip these camps if you want. I'm not saying you have to, but the option is there because that way you're still in proximity to this strong side of the map. The strong side is the place where I think I'm going to get kills, which is bot this game. Hence why I cleared from top to bot. It's because I want to be around this area with my time as much as I can. So the cardinal sin of jungling is on this weak side timer here, pathing to top with my camps all spawning and wasting a bunch of time ganking top, ganking mid, doing whatever, right? This is something that you don't want to do. You want to get back to this side. I want to get back to being ready on the side, spending as much time as possible on this bot side. So every single round, I'm going to be going here, clear, and go do something. Okay, my 2 minutes is up on the strong side. My Gromp is spawning again. Okay, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Okay, so that's what you're going to see this game, and that's something that's going to really, really help us keep good tempo. We're going to keep good tempo by doing this. We're going to have high CS. We're going to be getting, participating in kills. You will see, I think in this game it does happen, where I actually pass straight to the strong side, and we'll explain when that moment happens, okay? So as you can see, nothing to do here, right? Nothing to do, can't do dragon, no reason to, force an objective like that. Just in general, you never want to start dragon unless either A, you have some overwhelming, power difference in terms of, the 3v3 or the 4v4, right? So dragon is something that you start and you have to assume the enemy will come to fight you and that you'll win that fight. However, dragon is something that is a huge investment and it also damages you. So it's actually not a 4v4. It's actually a 4.5 v4 where the dragon is acting for the enemy. Okay. So never just do dragons randomly. There always needs to be a reason. Oh, Echo shows ganking top. Oh, you know what I mean? Like it always needs to be some kind of difference. Okay. Don't do random dragons. Bad for your tempo. Big investment. This is also why we'll talk more about it. Grubs, you can kind of take one and leave, which is the good thing about, grubs. All right. So, fundamentals. Okay, so let's just keep watching here. This is just a little bit of, when my LeBlanc is chaining this Talon, right? I don't have Q yet. So this is also about, I'm pinging, right? I'm communicating effectively to my LeBlanc. Hey, bait him this way. If he doesn't come this way, we can't kill him. If he does jump over this wall, we can kill him because I need to wait for my Q. Okay, so the amount of times I'll see someone, kind of just show yourself too early, right? Be a little bit creative. This isn't a fundamental, but be patient. Be patient, right? Playing around Talon, wait for him to hop, and we clean up a free kill. Great. Now, right? As we can see before, I'm going to go back real quick. Echo flash in chat. This is why keeping pings on is very important. Because now I know that Echo has no flash, I kind of have a crosshair on him. Whenever people flash, Jhin and Echo flash, you need to have like a crosshair on them. Because having no flash means that it's higher percentage when you go to kill them, okay? So you want to make a mental note. That's the same way when you gank somewhere and they burn flash, you need to ping it. You need to ping flashes, okay? So I know Echo has no flash here, so that's why when he comes in here, Echo here overcompensating for his team and makes a mistake, okay? Mel flashes, we know he has no flash, boom, get the kill. Now, I wonder how many of you guys would do the dragon here, right? Echo's dead. So this is the next fundamental, which is a little bit, again, about tempo, right? And it's a little bit about match or trade. Not really about match or trade, but more about turn-based thinking. So right now, if I start the dragon, right? My bot, how you have to think of the game is a little bit turn-based. My team just used our turn to do this. Okay, look, my LeBlanc is using her resources, her time to kill Talon. My mid is using her resources, her time to come here and flash and kill Echo. Now, of course, Mel is in a fine position to do dragon here. But something you have to also note is that, like I said before, dragon is a huge time investment. So when Echo is spawning in 10 seconds, he's actually going to be stronger than me, right? Even though I just killed him, double kill Jarvan, he's way stronger than me. So this is not a time to actually do dragon. This is a time where you're thinking your Gromp is respawning again and you want to keep that good tempo. Okay, we'll show another scenario where we actually end up doing the dragon and why we did it. So here, all you want to do is base. In this case, what I do is I actually kind of fake, kill the dragon, put the ward on the dragon. So this will also come up in the next play. And I guess I have a little bit more time here. So I'm waiting for my Gromp still, right? So that's why I guess I take the Krugs here. Don't worry too much about syncing up the camp cycle and all that stuff. Just think about how to use your tempo and your spare tempo, okay? Jhin has no flash, so that's why I think I'm kind of walking up here. And I still have some time. I still have some time to wait for my top side camps to spawn. As you can see, my blue spawning, my Gromp's about to spawn, so then I hit the B button. Another reason I kind of walk through here, I was kind of pretending I'm doing dragon, okay? I want to waste Echo's time. I want to waste someone's time coming to check this. Okay, that's the reason I walk through here, and I willingly show if I replay. I'm showing that I'm clearing your ward. I might be doing the dragon. You know what I mean? So that's the point. And then we just don't do it. So we might waste Echo's time here. He might run to the dragon. He might run to the grubs as well. All right, so we base. Right, we're always basing when our Gromp is about to spawn. As you can see, okay, we have still a little bit of spare time. So this case, Echo shows bot. I think the Gromp is spawning very soon anyway. This is why I do suggest people use like Professor if you're new and you want those timers on these camps. This is going to help massively with keeping good tempo. It will give you 20 seconds on my Gromp. Okay, now I know I have to recall here. I shouldn't look for this gank, right? Another reason why, going back one more time, why we don't gank this lane, the wave is pushing. As you can see, when waves hit tower like this, right, my Kog'Maw is clearing away right now, this wave is always going to bounce out. So Jhin really is under no danger here. This wave is going to bounce out. It's going to bounce towards the turret, no matter what my Kog'Maw does. All right, so moving on. Back to the weak side camps. Now, a fundamental that I didn't actually write here, which is back to front clearing, okay? You want to clear the camp that is most contested first, which in this case is the grubs, the scuttle, and then the blue. So I want to clear like this, okay? So I don't want to do my blue first. I want to do the grubs first. Now, the difference between me starting the grubs here, even though I only see Echo now, right? And I've already made the decision to go here. The difference between grubs and dragon is that the grubs health bar is split up into 3, right? This is the grubs health bar. Whereas dragon's health bar is one big health bar. So this is much more of an investment, right? I can't, do this much of dragon's health bar and then leave. Whereas grubs, I can do one grub and then Echo and Talon start coming over, and at least then I either get the grub or I haven't invested that much time, okay? So that's the difference between grubs and dragon. This is why generally, if you want to just play for, some XP, doing grubs is always, is always good. It's always good just because it's a bonus camp. So right here, I could just leave, right? Look how quick that was. Just dead. Talon's moving. Let's say Echo is moving too. I could just smite and leave. In this case, I see Echo bot. So, I stand my ground a little bit. I don't, use smite straight away because, confident in getting it myself. Hold the smite for the second one. And so Echo, he ganks bot. Now he starts the dragon, right? And so this is where this one-to-one tempo fundamental comes in. So this dragon would have been completely fine for Echo if he had started it like now, for example, right? Instead of doing the bot gank, if Echo had started dragon, it wouldn't have been bad for him here. Obviously, it's a little bit difficult too with this being like this. But you can do objectives as long as you're doing it and it's taking the same amount of time as the other objective. So of course, as I just said, I could easily do one grub here and match the Echo, okay? I could do one grub here and see that he starts dragon and match here. But this is the match or trade fundamental. Do I want to trade his topside camps here instead of matching the dragon, okay? So match, which is going to the dragon, and fighting, or trade. You basically always want to match the enemy when you are stronger. Now, this doesn't always necessarily mean individually stronger. It means, is this dragon going to be bad for them if I rock up here with my team and we 4v4? And as I said just before as well, right? Dragon does a lot of damage. He's already low health. And the last thing, right? What was the reason I put this ward on the dragon? It's for this exact scenario, right? I know that he's clearing down. I know that I'm clearing up. Sorry. I know that I'm clearing down and I know that he's clearing down, but I reset here and now doing the grubs. So it gives me this play to actually match him on the dragon. If I didn't have this ward on the dragon, I can't just guess here that he's on it. Okay. So ward the opposite objective. If you can. Let's say I was clearing down, right? Let's say I was going up here and I thought that, you know, I don't want to start the grubs because the enemy top and mid are really winning. I'm going to ward the grubs and then I'm going to clear down. And then if the echo ever starts the grubs, I'm going to try and trade the dragon. So match or trade. Always match when you are in a favorable scenario. And this is one of those scenarios. Now, the one thing you have to be careful of when you try and match is, do we have enough tempo to match? So if I can't make it to this dragon before he kills it, that's going to be a problem because I'm just going to be wasting time where I should just be clearing down. So of course, this is going to be a little bit about your knowledge, right? You're going to have to assess it. This is where, you know, just playing the game is going to come into account. So they actually do get it here, right? But we play for the fight anyway because they're in a bad condition, okay? So yeah, if they had got dragon and just got out there, that would have been a bad move from me. And this is where that 1-for-1 fundamental comes in. If he does the dragon while I start the grubs, I shouldn't try and go match because he's going to potentially take the dragon before I get there, okay? However, if I have already finished the grubs and he's only just starting the dragon, then I should try and match. All right? So, you know, I'm back on my strong side camps here now, right? I'm back on my strong side camps. You know, when this kind of thing happens, when I match here, don't worry too much, right? In this situation. So typically a lot of students that I coach will be like, oh, I need a base here and make sure I keep getting this, like, you know, keep getting the structure down. It wouldn't be terrible here, but it is inefficient because we have nothing to buy. We haven't been on the map for long enough. So don't think too much about keeping the structure all game. It's just a guide, right? It's just a guide for how you should play. Don't sacrifice efficiency for structure. Okay, don't sacrifice efficiency for structure. So just do your camps here, right? Just do your bot side camps here. Boom, 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 boom. We farm the camps and we base. Okay. My bot lane base too. No play bot, nothing to do. Instantly press B. So back to the weak side camps first, right? We're going to just, so our kind of structure has changed a little bit. We're still pathing towards bot side, but our camps are not all synced up now. So the next round could be like take, use our spare tempo, back, take, base. That's the new structure, right? That's how you can think about it. So again, back to front jungling. You want to do the thing that's furthest from you first, then work backwards. So we want to do scuttle here and then blue and then grump. Remember, little things like this, right? Pulling camps together. This is going to speed up your clear and your tempo incredibly fast. Pull camps together whenever you can on champions that can do this. And so as we clear down, these fundamentals are going to be kind of repeated. So this is a new one, right? This isn't on the fundamentals cheat sheet, but here we are in a situation where Mel TP's bot. And typically in our structured game, we want to clear weak side camps and make a play on the strong side. However, obviously here when Mel kind of acts as the jungler for us, we're not going to have a play there, right? If we run bot side right now, there's not really a guarantee that our time is going to be well spent. So what do we do instead, right? Whenever your mid acts as the jungler, gank spot, right? Let's say your Talon pushes out his mid wave, roams, ganks a lane. You can then just go push that wave, that mid wave, okay? This is really, really good. This is really efficient for the whole team's resources because you're also going to force the enemy mid to come here by pushing the wave in. And your mid is still just chilling here, right? He's still farming. So all good. So again, look at the CS, right? Look at the KP, look at the CS, high KP, 10 minutes in, we're at 85 CS. So even though we're playing Jarvan, which is, you know, it's kind of seen as utility or something, make sure to make the most of these moments where you can get some more resources, okay? Very important. So now we're just on the strong side, right? We're chilling, we're looking for some plays, we're clearing some vision. It's kind of our spare tempo because we don't have any camps to farm. Raptor starts to spawn. Mel is still staying bot side, so guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to take another mid wave because he's not coming back mid yet, right? And this wave is just going to be lost to the tower. So yeah, some students will tell me, oh, my mid's going to AFK if I do this. If he starts back pinging you off this wave, okay, whatever, leave it. Just go EQ to Raptors or something. But in a general sense, you should definitely be looking to get waves, whether it's top, mid, or bot, whenever you can. Efficiency. Look how efficient I'm clearing. You know, look how efficient I'm farming. So a jungler that can both, you know, the way that you get most fed as jungle, or just any kind of League of Legends character, right, champion, is by farming efficiently, maximizing your farm, maximizing your kill, you're killing people. That's the two ways. If you can just full clear kill, full clear kill, full clear kill, full clear kill, you're gonna be the strongest champion in the game by far, because you're maximizing both things. So that's what we're trying to do. Okay. So make sure you buy faster than whatever I just did. I think I was just thinking about my items too much. So this is the round where I actually go back to the strong side rather than go to the weak side. So this is a judgment call, right? If this doesn't work out for me, this is going to be very bad. Okay, because I'm going to waste time. I'm going to run here, right? If this doesn't work out for me, I'm going to run here with nothing to do. Okay, there's not going to be a camps. I can't start the dragon. I can't invade. So I'm just going to have to run here and then run to my topside camps, which is inefficient. So this is a judgment call. However, I'm feeling very strong right now, and I'm feeling like I have time to make it before this dive happens. It looks like a dive is about to happen, right? I think we also know that, you know, Talon is moving down here. So I'm making a judgment call here. On the timer that I want to run straight to my strong side. To be honest, in hindsight, it does look a little bit flip. I won't lie. I think going to, again, this, and then this, and then this is more consistent. Okay. This is much more consistent doing this, or even looking for like his camps into this, you know, whatever. So it was a judgment call. And as we played out, it does end up working out for me quite well, but I would say, yeah, it's a little bit of a flip. It's a little bit of a flip, but it works out. So this is just your judgment. There's no coaching to this. If you make the play and it works, good. If I was coaching a student that did this, I would say, yeah, we understand the correct play, but this was your judgment call and that was your X factor call, and I'm down for it. Go for it, right? Being too structured is also, right? I'm teaching all this structure, but being too structured is also, you need to like be a little bit creative. You need to let loose a little bit, okay? A balance, not too structured, not too free flowing, okay? So, you know, we make some plays here. I think I get kind of duped here a little bit, but he ends up dying. Okay, so cool. So in this timer, right, is this a dragon timer? Yes, it is. Because my spawn timer for my team, like my LeBlanc is spawning now, Talon is dead for 7 and Echo is dead for 23. So this is a time where I can do this dragon before Echo gets back. So this is a time, you see how the game is like kind of progressing a little bit here, 13 minutes. This is a time where I actually can do the objective. And now obviously I should try and, you know, ping my team to help here a little bit. However, never do an objective if it relies on your team helping you. Never. It's just a rule. You know, maybe if you get to high elo, maybe if you are in high elo, people are actually, I mean, I can't even say that, to be honest. Some people in high elo in my games are like completely do not care about, you know, objectives either. But I do know that in lower elo, people actually like, you know, they're actually playing for fun. Like they actually don't care about, you know, objectives. Okay. So all camps are up right now. However, it's a really good time to base because, you know, I actually can spend gold here and then keep playing to this structure. You know, I had a lot of gold there. That's the reason for my basing here. If I didn't have a lot of gold here, so contrary to before, you know, where I didn't base here and I stayed on these camps, this is just really efficient for me to just base and then start my clear down again. I'm also playing for the other objective, which I should kind of assume should be taken. Okay. So next round begins. We're going to top side. You know, we're not really worrying about anything here. We're just back to front, right? If he takes it here, all right, grubs have been slain. All right, all good. We just clear down. Same thing. Doesn't matter. But we're going to check it anyway, right? It's a little bit of time. And as we see here, we see the Echo here. We predict based off where the grubs are, where he is. And we squash him. And we take the grubs. Okay. So, take the grubs. In this case, right, because we killed Echo, I can choose to just full clear down now. If we hadn't killed Echo, I may actually cross to my strong side here. And the reason for that is because I know that these camps are like kind of safe. So let's say, for example, Echo escaped here and he eat over this wall. I would actually take Grubs and then match him here because he can now attack this if I'm too slow here. So this is a scenario you may run into sometimes, right? What do we do when all of our camps are up? Like this exact scenario, but we want to take the Grubs. But then that means that we're desynced from our time. You just do Grubs and then cross. If you think that these camps can be taken, you skip these ones and you just cross straight to your strong side. And you kind of act like the Grub timer was the same timer as you clearing your weak side, if that makes sense. Okay? So yeah, there are going to be times like that. This is not one of them because he's dead. So this is a time where I can be really greedy and actually just full clear down again. All right, so some stuff is happening bot again, right? And I'm not really concerned about it. Again, you know, my Kog'Maw, I'm not associating him to actually being a player. I'm just saying, you know, that's my cute Kog'Maw just dying again. You know, he's already died like 6 times. Doesn't really affect me. I'm just gonna stick to this, keeping good tempo because I'm confident that I'll carry the game. And I'm also confident that the enemy team will make just as many mistakes as my team. So, you know, no need to overcompensate for anything, right? Just keep playing your game. Keep playing your game. So, now we are entering the mid-game. You know, past 14 minutes, this is when mid-game begins. So let's take a look at some mid-game fundamentals. The main ones we're going to be talking about, uptime, downtime, okay? This is basically when to farm and when to group. And when to greed, meaning farming as well, or when to base. All right. So it has begun. And we'll start it from, you know, I clear some more camps. We'll start it from here because this is kind of when the round begins. Okay, so right now, looking at all my tempo lines, this is, you can kind of say that this is uptime because my team is ready to play. Now, when this guy starts basing and my Kog'Maw is dead, this is when it's going to be downtime. Okay, so let's watch. So my Mel is TPing. No, I did just say it was downtime, but my Mel has TP. So both, it's basically 4v4. So something you also want to think about is numbers, okay? So uptime means you want to be taking enemy camps or, you know, basically not clearing your camps when it's uptime, okay? So right here, it's kind of downtime because I can't be involved in bot play and my Mel is basing, okay? Downtime right now. So if I did have more camps to farm here, let's just say, for example, Mel does not have TP. Right? If my Mel does not have TP here and I have camps to do here, I should do these camps. However, my Mel has TP. So that means when she TPs mid, you see these tempo lines. Okay, these are called tempo lines. All of my team's tempo lines are up. They're also on the same kind of section of the map. Okay, so let's say, for example, my Jace was like here, my Kog'Maw is dead, and the Talon is alive. This would mean that it's not uptime. We don't want to play uptime then, because if we do a fight, we're going to have less numbers. So I'll try and explain further as the game goes on. But it's uptime right now. I want to be looking to farm this camp. I want to be farming this camp. I want to be farming this camp. And I want to be shadowing this Jace to pressure here. You know, uptime is also a time that you want to pressure the map. Because even though, you know, let's say you have an inting Jace here. Just for example. Let's say my Jace is just inting here, right? Split pushing. I can actually still use that pressure from him inting to take things in the uptime, right? Whereas if I just said, oh, my Jace is inting and I'm just farming my camps, I can't actually make use of him inting, okay? So this is the whole idea about uptime, downtime. So, all right, we can, I remember this actually. I failed my flash EQ, but okay, it doesn't matter. Uptime, right? We're doing stuff, we're making plays, we're farming camps, we're catching people out, we're playing with our teams because they're all ready to go. You can kind of think of it like that. You know, now we're farming camps close to our team. Still uptime here, right? Uptime, we're pressuring towers. Okay, when we realize that we can't go for this tower anymore, okay, still uptime. You can still see it's still uptime, right? Because all of our tempo lines, still uptime. So still not time to go back to Raptors here because this GP is also here, which goes to another fundamental, which goes kind of hand in hand, which is objectives and waves. We want to be protecting waves for map pressure. The reason for that is because if anyone ever pushes a wave, okay, like the enemy pushes a top wave, that essentially means, let's just say GP pushed this wave to here. That essentially means he owns actually this much of the map. He actually creates space on the map. Whereas like if you have every wave pushed like this, okay, this is why Bols is so good at League of Legends, because he understands that pushing waves means that you own all of this part of the map. You own all of this part because you have all these waves pushed in here. Because waves mean the enemy has to answer, and it also gives you vision. Okay? So protect your waves. If someone is not pushing a wave in the mid game, so champions that are good at split pushing, Belbeth, whatever, if your team is not pushing a side wave, let's say for example this Jace never pushed bot here. Okay? Let's say this Jace was AFK. Okay? And there was a wave here for us to take. Right here. You should push that wave. You should push this wave here if there's nothing, you know. So push waves if your team isn't going to. Don't take waves in front of your team. You know, there's no need to do that. But if someone's just not pushing, you can do it. Alright, so we catch GP here on our uptime. Uptime. We burn flash. Still uptime. Okay, now Mel starts to base. Mel is basing. Okay, we do an objective. I'm pinging objectives. So Mel based here, but Echo actually died. So it's still actually our uptime here. Because look at the tempo lines. Still good. Still good to make plays. So we summon the Rift Herald because we have a numbers advantage. So whenever, you know, when you think about using Rift Herald, you want to use it. Typically, I don't think my usage was really that great here, but typically you want to use Rift Herald on the lane that they're not defending. So in this case, we have two lanes pushing, right? Mid and bot. I kind of want to be somewhere here. And if they're defending mid, I want to use it bot. If they're defending bot, I want to use it mid. This is how we want to think about when using Rift Herald. Use it to where they're not defending, so you can get a free tower. In this case, you know, we're pretty strong by now. We have numbers. The tower is low. Make a quick play. Boom. Make another play. Still uptime. Boom. And now we're going to more towards downtime. Okay, you see how people are basing. I mean, I am pinging the dragon here. I am pinging the dragon, which is not good. We shouldn't actually do the dragon here. So, classic scenario, right? Your team dies. Your team dies in the downtime. This is classic. What should you do when your team dies in the downtime, right? Once you've made all your plays, what should you do? I mean, to be honest, we should have actually done the dragon here. My pings were fine because they were dead. But okay, typical scenario, right? My team's inting. I wanted to do the dragon here, but my team's inting. So how do we play around that? In this case, in the downtime, you see the tempo lines here, right? My Jace is here, LeBlanc is here, but two people are dead, which means their tempo lines are in base, okay? In this scenario, you're either going to choose to base and spend your gold, or if you have camps to farm, while they're dead, you can farm these camps here. Okay? So let's see what I do actually. So you know, yeah, you see here, right? Your team's gonna keep making plays like this, regardless of how they go. I'm just gonna base here. This is the main reason for this is because I had an item. So if I did not have my item here, I should stay here and farm these camps. Let's just say I didn't have, you know, 1.9k. Let's say I had like 1,000. Even if I had 1,000 gold here, in the time where your team, in the downtime, this is when you actually spend to farm your camps. Okay, so you farm your camps in downtime, you farm their camps in uptime. Because you want to be in proximity to where your team is pressuring. This is all to do with closing the game out. This is all to do with these fundamentals here, which is tempo lines, when to farm, when to group, and what we just talked about, when to greed. Greeding means you stay on the map. Like I just explained, you have 1,000 gold, just stay on the map, keep farming. And lastly, in the mid game, I haven't really talked about it yet, but you know, I was pinging the dragon before, right? I was pinging assistance on the dragon. You always want to have an objective in mind. You always want to be thinking about, oh, like, what am I playing for? Whether that's a tower, whether that's, you know, Artican, whether that's dragon, whether that's towers, you always want to have something in mind. This will give your game some direction. This will stop you from kind of just floating around the map, not knowing what to do. Okay, we're taking dragon, ping it, 30 seconds. 30 seconds, dragon spawning, ping, 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 ping. Effective communication. So if we play uptime, downtime well, if we protect waves well, and we you know, always have an objective in mind, the mid game is actually easy. Okay, mid game is much easier than people think. It's actually something that people always mess up on. It's just these three things. Okay, so right here, you see this bot wave? That could have been a timer where I actually take that wave, but obviously I take the dragon instead. So uptime again, right? When my Jace is top here, I'm gonna use this as another example. Me taking Krugs is really int. Okay, because if he dies, if Echo ganks him, I want to be doing something that pressures the game, at least taking camps, taking an objective, right? I want to use his pressure. So this guy can be inting, I don't care. I'm going to use him as a distraction. So that's why also it's important for this Jace, hey, I'm pressuring here. Why are you just taking your camps? He can say the same thing to you. You should be pressuring as well. Okay, so yeah, my team's fighting. Whatever, I'm staying objectively focused, right? I'm focusing on the objective. My team kills everyone. So again, right? regardless of if your team is doing good or bad, you can always score points. You can always score points in the test. It's not about winning or losing. It's about making the right plays, the right decisions. So, even if my team all died here, right? Let's say my team all died. It's the opposite. My team's dead. Their team's alive. If that's the case here, you can still make a right play. There's a right play and there's a wrong play. The wrong play is going to join them and die and compensate. The right play is having downtime and farm your camps. So even if your team is all dead here, there's still a right play that you can make. In this case, my team killed him. So it's uptime. I'm farming his camps. Always look to farm his camps over your camps here. So when you're taking the other Khan, don't go back to your camps. Take enemy camps. Always first. And I think this is just about going to sum it up, right? Towers are also objectives, remember. So towers, tier 2 towers, they give a lot of gold. So as you can see, you see how unplayable it is for the enemy when we have waves pushed in. We have all these waves pushed in. Look how much they own of the map. They own like this much. They can't even leave their base. We own all of this. This is why pushing waves, protecting waves is important. Catching people on side waves is important. So we take this. Pretty safe as Jarvan, but this is me kind of inting, to be honest with you, if I look at this again. This is kind of playing the downtime wrong, but I think I just smurf it. Yeah, this is definitely me. As you can see here, right? So let's actually just go back. Here is a time where we can't take anything more. We can't take this. We can't take this. We can't take this. So automatically, I should be thinking to not fight here. This is like throw territory. This is where you throw it. Because Kog'Maw is here. Look at the tempo lines. So technically, they actually have more numbers here. And we have nothing to play for. This is the perfect time to base. So I'm inting here. So even though the result of this is good, and I kind of style on them, it's still a bad play. It's still the incorrect play. Now, if you just want to test some limits, right? And again, we don't really care about the outcome. You can go for it, right? This is also important to test your limits, right? As a player and as a champion and that champ mastery. But it is the incorrect play for consistency. You might mentally break them, but yeah, if we're talking fundamentals, that's the time when you should base. And they surrender, all right? So this is going to conclude. If you enjoyed this video or even learned something from this fundamentals breakdown, let me know in the comments below, and I hope to see you guys all in the next one.